The 2025 offseason has officially begun. Welcome to the new league year. Kansas City staying busy with some new contracts and some more restructuring ahead of Wednesday's deadline to help build their 2025 roster. But did they make enough moves? Let's talk through it all right now. What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Happy Wednesday. I'm Hayley Lewis, and this is Chiefs News Daily. It seems like every hour over the past 2 days, we've had another update after another update after another update. Many Chiefs free agents have stayed, but a lot have also moved on. So we're going to talk through those transactions, talk about the salary cap, and some new draft picks that Kansas City now has. So give us a like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel. And let's get into this one. The new league year has officially begun. Earlier today at 3 p.m. Kansas City time, the 2025 NFL league year kicked off, meaning those reported trades can now officially take place. It also means the unrestricted free agent signings can officially happen. Basically, this is a free-for-all, and it is upon us. Today is also the day that NFL teams must be under the new salary cap. So for the Chiefs, that was a big concern after franchise tagging right guard Trey Smith and having some big salaries on the payroll like that of Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, and Travis Kelce, to name a few. So Kansas City able to move some things around by reworking a few high salary contracts. ESPN's Field Yates reported early this morning the Chiefs have restructured the contracts of quarterback Patrick Mahomes and defensive tackle Chris Jones, creating a whopping $49.446 million in 2025 cap space. So that space, plus more, needed for Kansas City to sign their early free agents, including left tackle Jalen Moore and cornerback Christian Fulton. The Kansas City Star explains that before the Mahomes and Jones moves, the Chiefs remained about $19.8 million over budget, according to overthecap.com. Mahomes, according to Over the Cap, will have a cap number of $28.06 million in 2025. That now jumps to $78.2 million in 2026 without any further maneuvering. Similarly, Jones will count $23.6 million against the cap in 2025 before seeing that number jump to $44.9 million in 2026 if it's not restructured again. Jason Fitzgerald at Over the Cap estimates that Mahomes' cap number after Wednesday's restructure will now rise by $9.59 million in each future year of his contract. Jones's cap number, meanwhile, will go up $3.75 million in 2026, 27, and 2028. Now, the Chiefs are currently $29.5 million under the cap via Over the Cap's projections, but that doesn't yet include the new contracts for Bolton, Fulton, running back Elijah Mitchell, and tight end Robert Tonyan. So the Chiefs' adjusted salary cap, according to the NFL Players Association, is now $286,858,178. So the adjusted cap means this year's salary cap of $279.2 million for each club, plus or minus adjustments for the 2024 league year. Nick Jacobs with KSHB 41 Sports explains that Kansas City had about $3 million in room that they could carry over if they wanted to from 2024. And another possibility is the likely to be earned incentives that didn't get earned or would be credited back to the salary cap for the season. All right, so let's take a look at this clip. This is something that I found this morning when I was doing my deep scroll on Twitter about the Chiefs restructuring and some offseason moves. It's ESPN Radio's Joe Fortenbaugh. He made a very bold prediction this morning after hearing the news.
For Kansas City, smart move with him and Jones. Now it frees up cash to at least try to retain some guys or address some of their issues. Problem is, they're not going to be able to solve all of their issues to get back to the Super Bowl next year. They're heading for, I'm not going to call it a reset, but I would not expect them in the Super Bowl next year. I don't expect them in the AFC Championship game next year. I'm going to be betting that they do not win the AFC West next year. Right now, it sounds crazy because of how dominant they've been. But at some point, the bottom's going to fall out on these guys. There are a few big red flag indicators. Number one, they have won 17 consecutive one-score games. They were 12-0 in one-score games last year. Last time we heard of a team that was that dominant in one-score games was the Minnesota Vikings a few seasons ago. Bottomed out the next year.
They went 13-3 right there.
You can't just bank on the idea that Denver's always going to have that game-winning field goal blocked, or that Cincinnati's always going to commit that penalty in the big spot, or that Isaiah Likely's toe's always going to come down out of bounds. It doesn't work like that. Eventually, the math catches up to you. You're going to start losing some one-score games. On top of that, I don't see Travis Kelce having some resurgence. He'll be good. He won't be great. Your offensive line is a problem, and you went to the Super Bowl last year for what, the third consecutive year? I don't know how much gas you're going to have in the tank late in the season. All we heard about when they lost the Super Bowl was how tired they were and how long this has been. You still went to the Super Bowl. That doesn't change this year. Win or lose, you were still in the game playing 60 minutes. When you get to the Super Bowl, one of the defining characteristics is that you tend to be one of the healthiest teams in the NFL. Really good health or really bad health tends to regress the following year. Look at San Francisco. 2 years ago, they lost the Super Bowl. They were one of the healthiest teams in the NFL, top 5 in terms of health. Last year, they were one of the unhealthiest. 3 years ago, I think Baltimore was one of the unhealthiest teams in the NFL. Next year, they come back very healthy. They go to the AFC Championship game. This Chiefs team was very healthy. That's going to regress. So between more injuries, more futility in one-score games, Travis Kelce not getting any better, the offensive line not getting any better, I think this team's headed for a big step back.
All right, what's the little meme from The Office? Ryan writing in his book of names that have wronged him. Well, Patrick Mahomes, add this one to your list. Let the offseason hate begin. All right, let's take a look at the Chiefs free agency recap so far. So since tweeting this list out yesterday, there has been one addition. I'm going to talk about that at the very end. So here is who is staying in Kansas City and what the Chiefs have done thus far. Tendered punter Matt Araiza, tendered offensive lineman Mike Caliendo, re-signed wide receiver Hollywood Brown, re-signed linebacker Nick Bolton, guard Trey Smith signed his franchise tag. They signed offensive tackle Jalen Moore, signed running back Elijah Mitchell, re-signed linebacker Cole Christensen, re-signed long snapper James Winchester, signed cornerback Christian Fulton, signed tight end Robert Tonyan. Now, the Chiefs' official Twitter account also shared Hollywood Brown signing as well as James Winchester signing, showing both of the players putting that pen to paper. Now, Winchester is on a one-year deal that's going to get him $1.65 million along with a $167,500 signing bonus. Brown is going to get a one-year deal, $6.85 million deal with a $3 million signing bonus and $3.35 million base. $250,000 in per-game roster bonuses along with $250,000 workout bonuses and $4 million incentives. Let's now go through the list of those who have moved on from Kansas City. The Chiefs, of course, traded away guard Joe Thuney to the Bears. Running back Samaje Perine signed with the Bengals. Wide receiver Justin Watson signed with the Texans. The Chiefs released defensive tackle Matt Dickerson. Defensive tackle Tershawn Wharton signed with the Panthers. Safety Justin Reed signed with the Saints. And wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins is headed to Baltimore. That was per Jordan Schultz, who first reported it, saying in his tweet, the Ravens are signing the 5-time All-Pro wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, a one-year deal worth $6 million, sources tell me. So who is even left? All right, here's a list of the Chiefs' unrestricted free agents who have not yet struck up a deal with another team or with the Chiefs. You got quarterback Carson Wentz, tackle DJ Humphries, running back Kareem Hunt, tight end Jody Fortson, wide receiver McCole Hardman, wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, defensive end Charles Omenihu, defensive end Josh Uche, defensive tackle Derek Nottie, defensive tackle Mike Pennell, and defensive tackle Marlon Tuipulotu. So the Chiefs also found out they have some new draft picks coming up during the 2025 draft, which is next month already. ESPN Field Yates, a busy man. He shared the list of compensatory draft picks the NFL released yesterday. So Kansas City will be awarded 2 more picks. They're both in the 7th round, pick 251 overall and pick 257 overall. So in total, the Chiefs now have 8 picks. Round 1, pick 31. Round 2, pick 63. Round 3, pick 66. Round 3, pick 95. Round 4, pick 133. Round 7, pick 226, and now the 2 new ones, that pick 251 and pick 257. So the Chiefs' compensatory pick in the 7th round, that pick 257 overall, is actually the final pick of the draft, which means they got the Mr. Irrelevant draft pick. The Chiefs haven't had the final pick in over 15 years. Actually, back in 2009, the Chiefs selected kicker Ryan Suckup with the 256 overall pick, the final pick of that year's draft. Now, he stayed in Kansas City for 5 seasons. He also was an NFL pro for 14 years. He also won a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Bucks back in that 2020-2021 season. Now, the Chiefs, of course, can trade away this pick if they want to move up in the draft, but we shall see if they hold on to Mr. Irrelevant. Alrighty, folks, we have made it through another day. That is another day of Chiefs News Daily. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow. In the meantime, we ask that you like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you here on Thursday.